we have the Rocket Takeover event going down in Pokemon Go, so I'm going to give you the top tips to help you guys max out on everything to do with the Team Rocket addition into the Let's Go event Pokemon Go. So, welcome to the Trainer Club. Here we go! Welcome back, Team Rocket events. Are you excited? Because this one is going down on the 25th, which is going to be Saturday at 10 a.m. all the way to the end of the Let's Go event, which will be on Wednesday the 29th at 8 p.m. local time. I just want to remind you guys, do not forget about your Meltan boxes. It's very important for you guys to do your Meltan boxes each and every day to try to get yourself a 100% IV Meltan, because it is a mythical Pokemon, so it is not able to trade in masses, which is kind of a bummer, for one. And two, you can get a shiny for this limited time, so every 3 days, make sure to go in and transfer your Pokemon into Pokemon Home easily and be able to get this. It's a very simple process. If you need all the details, please check it out up here in my tip video that came out for the Let's Go event. So for this event, we're going to have two bonuses going down. We're going to have Team Go Rockets will be appearing more frequently at Pokestops, and you're going to be able to TM away frustration of all of your Shadow Pokemon that do have it. We will have Shadow Regice making its way into Giovanni, which I will talk about in a tip, and then we will have new Shadow Pokemon and new leader Pokemon, which is Shiny Shadows are out as of right now. So with all that said, let's get to my top tips, starting with tip number 1. Tip number 1 is going to be all about the frustration TM in Pokemon Go, because I want you guys to search this in your bag, and it's going to be @frustration in your Pokemon storage bag. That will give you all of the Pokemon that you should TM frustration with. And if you have any Pokemon out there that you are like, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Well, for me, if you guys do raid a lot and you get a lot of TMs, I would suggest just TMing the Pokemon away. If you have any Pokemon that could be good in GBL, if you want to see some of the lists over here, you can check out some of them in the Great League. You can also check out the ones in the Ultra League and in the Master League as well. And if you want to go to pvpoke.com and see if your Pokemon that you have that you may want to TM away frustration on, if you are limited to your TMs, you may want to check that out. But also there are some top meta attackers that are really good to be able to TM that. If you guys want to check those out, let's see them right now. For meta attackers, we do have Machamp, extremely effective. Even Hariyama is a pretty effective fighting meta attacker. All of the legendaries, I would suggest TMing away frustration just to have those Pokemon open and free. Not only that, we can use Pokemon such as Salamence, we can use Beldum going into the Metagross, we can use Dragonite as a meta attacker. The other Pokemon included could be Shadow Honchkrow, Shadow Alakazam, Shadow Moltres, Shadow Dragonite like we talked about, Shadow Latios, Shadow Mamoswine. Other Pokemon can include Shadow Electivire, Shadow Weavile, Shadow Machamp, Staraptor, Raikou, Zapdos, Charizard, Entei, Luxray, and Executor as the top 20 Shadows. And the other one I don't want you guys to forget about is going to be Gardevoir. It is not the most effective Pokemon, but it does do damage, especially with that Charm move in the Master League. So TM frustration away, it's very important. And then if you choose to catch a Shadow Regice, we'll talk about in the tip number 2, you're going to want to TM that away, which is going to lead us into tip number 2. Tip number 2 is going to be all about Shadow Regice in Pokemon Go. So I just made a video about stocking up on your Rocket research. So apparently there's a brand new, well, I guess not so new, but newer strategy. Instead of going and holding on to one of the research quest lines and then beating it and then going on to the next one and kind of only being able to stock one, if you don't go past page number 1 of the research, you will be able to stock up on these researches because it doesn't count as anything. If you want to see the full video, you can check it out up here, which includes the Regice right now. So do not go past stage number 1 of the Regice research. It's very important not to go past that if you don't plan to catch it, which is something that I am going to choose not to catch it as well. I have already gone through page number 1 on the last research, so I will probably have to catch a Regice right now, or I'm going to waste that Rocket Radar, and then when I get the new one, I will not be completing it at all. All I'm going to do is click the arrow that hides it up, it tucks it nicely away in the right side of my research section, and that's going to be it. So with that said, now let's get into tip number 3. Tip number 3 is going to be the brand new Shiny Shadow Rocket Pokemon coming from the leaders. And not only that, guys, there's brand new things that are going to be out that are going to be Shinies coming from Grunts. There is no official confirmation which Pokemon those are going to be as of right now, me making this video. I will be putting out another video to help you guys with all of this, including the Rocket Leader lineup, because as of right now, unfortunately, the lineup is not here, and I will be doing that in a vlog tomorrow for you guys, as well as with the other things. So for this specific purpose, I want to make sure you guys at least know which Pokemon Pokemon are coming from which leaders and which ones are going to be shiny shadows. So as of right now, Arlo is going to be the only recycled Pokemon, which will be the Shadow Teddiursa, which does have a shiny, which now goes all the way into Ursaluna as a shadow Pokemon, which is a pretty powerful ground type attacker. If you want to see the best of the best for the Ursaluna, you can check it out up here that I did do. Every single one that does have a Calm Day, you will do it. And if you do want to get that high horsepower move, you will have to wait until December if you do get a good one during this time. Okay, so this Pokemon is a normal type Pokemon. It's a very easy Pokemon to be able to use Lucario for. With Counter and Power Up Punch, that one blasts through everything. I highly suggest you guys check that out. As the second Pokemon, it looks like you can get Hypno and you can get Golurk. What I would suggest is having a second charge move on that Lucario. If you unlock it with the Riolu before you evolve it, it will only cost 10,000 Stardust, which is definitely a very, very budgeted version of what it will cost once you evolve it. So definitely save your Stardust, unlock the second charge move with Riolu before you do the evolution. So these Pokemon will get handled by the second charge move, which would be Shadow Ball. So if you do have Counter, Power Up Punch, and Shadow Ball, and you're able to get a Power Up Punch or two, you can easily handle this. And then going on to the next one, Scissor is going to be the last Pokemon, one of the most common Pokemon coming from this, and I usually have a Reshiram in there to be able to handle this Scissor very easy. And the Reshiram, it does have Fusion Flare, which is going to easily take it down. And even if you don't have Fusion Flare, using Overheat will work just as well, because the Reshiram more than likely will kill that Scissor double weak to fire with the Fire Fang before you even get there. And on to the next team, which is going to be Cliff. And Cliff is going to be my recommended Pokemon of all of these. The most recommended because it's going to be Larvitar. Larvitar, shiny shadow, first time introduction into the game. I am so incredibly excited about it. I feel like the Larvitar is going to look super fire. The Tyranitar is not as rich of a shiny in my opinion as is the Larvitar, but it's still a pretty epic shiny and it's going to look great. I can't wait to see everybody get it. We're going to be doing a video where we plan to do 100 of these Pokemon, so I'm excited about that. Okay, so Larvitar going down number one. This is going to be a rock and a ground type Pokemon, which will be double weak to water, and also it will be double weak to grass. So those are two things that you can't consider here. However, on the next Pokemon, we are looking at Skarmory. We're also looking at Kingdra and one other Pokemon that is not discovered as of yet. So if we look at this and we want to go for the best Pokemon that we can use, what you could run is going to be a Reshiram, or even a Charizard would work here with Dragon Breath as well as Blast Burn. Or even if you don't even use the Dragon Quick move and you have a Dragon Charge move, that's going to be Dragon Claw, because it would be able to do a lot of spammy things onto this Kingdra here. And then the Fire would be able to help with the Skarmory. So that would definitely work here. And then finally, we do have Tyranitar in that second spot. So if you did choose to use a water Pokemon up front, you could easily go through something like a Kyogre with Waterfall, would absolutely destroy that Larvitar, and then it would be able to come through on the back end and handle the Tyranitar. However, at the same time, another easy one to do for the Tyranitar is going to be any type of fighting type Pokemon. You could even start off with a Lucario, go in with there, and then have that Lucario saved up and come through and use it on the back end. That would definitely work. And remember, Power Punch is a great way to waste the shields here. So Cliff is going to be my highly recommended Pokemon that you focus on during this time. And then finally, we have the Sierra. So Sierra is going to have the Shadow Murkrow. So Murkrow, albeit a very powerful dark type attacker, it is extremely glassy, and I am not the biggest fan of the Shadow Honchkrow because it's already glassy as a regular Pokemon. So, you know, taking this Pokemon in there is going to be quite challenging. Sierra typically will finish off with a Houndoom. So if we look at this Pokemon and we are going after the Honchkrow, you could use the Lucario. That would work here. However, could hit it relatively hard, but at the same time, you know, if you charge up a little bit there, you have a Power Up Punch and you save it on the back end for if it is that Pokemon. So that is not exactly what's going on. But as far as the recommendations here, guys, obviously I think they're pretty easy. And if you don't know how to beat these Pokemon, easy Pokemon to go in this that are relatively well used for all of this is going to be Swampert, I would recommend. Lucario recommend. Melmetal I would recommend as well. And then you can always use a Machamp. I would have the Rock Slide on that Machamp as well. They're great Pokemon to be able to use. So those are going to be tip number 3, which is going to lead us to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is going to be all about the 12-kilometer eggs coming from here. So the same exact thing that is going to be the lineup from the 12-kilometer eggs is the same that always comes about. So approximately, if you do have 12 of them and use a star piece, you usually get about 85 to 90,000. If you really get lucky, you can get about 100,000 Stardust for this round. Obviously, you will have to buy incubators, so that's one thing that you do have to address. But in here, we do have Larvitar. 100% IV on the Larvitar is 594. We're going to get Absol coming in here. Absol does have a Mega and a Shiny. We're going to have Scroopy. That's an unfortunate one of the mix. And we are also going to get Sandile Sandile. I do like the Sandile. Sandile 100% IV will 592. And then we're also going to be able to get Scraggy in there, and Scraggy is actually a pretty good GBL Pokemon for the Great League and the Ultra League. For the Great League, it's going to be ranked 3 overall at a 0.815. So coming from the 12-kilometer eggs, you will have to trade it with a low-level friend to be able to get it there. And then in the Ultra League, it's actually ranked 23 at a 9.1515. So if you were able to hatch a 10.1515, would be a pretty close combination. And then we do have Pawniard and Vullaby, and both of those Pokemon have shinies. They are not super useful, but then we do have Dino. Dino is a shiny. It had a Calm Day. The best thing to do would be not evolve this and save it to December if you do get a good shiny coming from here. 606 will be the Hundo hatch. We do have Pancham, Skrelp, and then obviously the one that everybody wants, which is going to be Salandit. You do want the female to be able to evolve it into Salazzle, but the biggest thing here is to hatch all your eggs, save them, stock up on all of the rocket leaders from all of them, get 12-kilometer eggs, and keep on hatching, which is then going to lead us to tip number 5. Tip number 5 is going to be all about the research that's going on during this event. So we do have Battle 2 Rocket Grunts, which can give you a mysterious component. If it is not giving you that, I suggest that you dump it. And then if you do choose to complete the Shadow Regice quest lines, you want to know what it is, let's check it out right now. So we do have defeat 3 Team Go Rocket Grunts, catch 2 Shadow Pokemon, 20 Pokeballs, and purify 1 Shadow Pokemon. Remember to do 1,000 per purifies there on all the purifies to save you Stardust, 1,000 XP, 500 Stardust, and you're going to get 3 components there. Then you have defeat 6 Team Go Rocket Grunts for a component. Then you're going to have catch 4 Shadow Pokemon for 15 Great Balls, purify 2 Shadow Pokemon for another component, and you will be getting a Radar, 1,000 Stardust, and 1,500 XP. The next, you're going to have to defeat Arlo, Cliff, and Sierra 1 time each for 1,500 XP each. For grand total, 2,500 XP, 1,500 Stardust, and a Super Rocket Radar. Then you're going to have to find, battle, and defeat the Team Go Rocket boss for 10 Hyper Potions. You're going to get 10 Ultra Balls, and you're going to get 6 Max Revives for 3,000 XP, 2,000 Stardust, and 2 Golden Raspberries. And then in stage number 5, you're going to have to claim all your rewards for 2,500 XP times 3, 5,000 XP, 2,500 Stardust, and you are going to be able to get 2 Silver Pineapple Berries. And then that would give you the Shadow Regice, and you will be able to catch it. So I highly suggest that you don't go past stage number 1. You save this research, you save the next one if it is not going to be good. More than likely, Shadow Regirock will be coming next season, and we will analyze that when it comes out, but more than likely, we'll be saving that one as well until we get something that's going to be worth having multiple of them, such as Mewtwo, maybe in the future, Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza Shadows. Who knows what the future is to come. That's going to be the event. Appreciate you guys being here as always. To all my likers, comments, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes your support, subscription, and participation to next level. I'm going to see you guys out in the next video. Peace.
I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and rating all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.